Germany's central bank is sounding the alarm on Europe's largest economy, warning it could fall into recession. The Bundesbank says output will remain lackluster in the third quarter and could continue to fall, dragged down by a drop in exports and a decline in manufacturing. Germany's economy contracted by 0.1% in the 3 months to June, and another quarter of contraction will tip it into recession. The problems for Eurozone's industrial giant have been compounded by troubles in the car-making industry, the escalating US-China trade war, and the prospect of a chaotic Brexit. The slowdown may pressure Angela Merkel's government to tinker with its balanced budget rule as the economy craves stimulus. Finance Minister Olaf Scholz says Germany has the fiscal strength to counter any future economic crisis, estimating that an economic revival would need about $55 billion. Let's get more on this now with Christian Odendahl, who joins us from Berlin. He's chief economist at the Centre for European Reform. Welcome to Money Talks, Christian. Now, the Bundesbank, Germany's central bank, was quite alarmist in a way as central banks come in terms of its assessment for the next quarter, the possibility that Germany may fall into a recession. Do you think it all is but predicting that a recession will hit the country?
So I think it was a sober analysis of the data that we have. The second quarter was not great, and the data that we have until now for the third quarter already shows that a recession in Germany is likely. But I think it wasn't alarmist so much as it was just a sober take on what we have. It also said that there is a broad-based strength of the German domestic economy, and I think this is a major difference to recessions in Germany in the past. In the last 20 years or so, Germany usually had a recession also caused by exports going down, but it didn't have the domestic strength to counter it. And that's quite different now. So that's why I would be expecting a milder recession than in the past, though a recession it will be.
Now, we saw global markets rally on the back of the Finance Minister Olaf Scholz's comments that the German government would be prepared to inject around $55 billion in stimulus if an economic crisis hits Germany. Does that mean things have to get worse before they get better?
Well, I thought here in the interpretation of those comments, markets were getting ahead of themselves. What Olaf Scholz said was first that Germany is willing to let automatic stabilizers work their magic, which means if the budget goes into negative territory as a result of declining tax revenues, Germany will not, in response, hike taxes or cut spending. And I think this is just economic common sense, what he was repeating. What he said yesterday was, okay, in the last crisis, after the 2008-2009 financial crisis, we spent roughly 55 billion euros to revive the economy. And we have that money now if German economy falls into a deep recession or crisis. But we are still a long way from that. So I think the comments were slightly overinterpreted.
Interesting. So from your analysis, do you think the German government would be prepared to inject stimulus as a preventative measure before a recession hits?
I still consider that unlikely. The Germans have fiscal rules in their constitution. They guide the fiscal policy making of the country. And as long as automatic stabilizers are allowed to work and the recession is as mild as it seems to be at the moment, then I don't foresee any sort of fiscal stimulus. I think it would change if, for example, a chaotic Brexit or further escalation of the trade tensions between the US and China were to lead to a major worldwide economic crisis. I think then life would be different in Germany, and then the German government would be ready for a fiscal stimulus.
Okay, we'll see what happens over the current quarter. Christian Odendahl in Berlin, thank you so much for your analysis.